Buff Nation, what's going on? I've made it back to the studio, I guess is what we call it. But this is a big week coming up for the Buffs, wanting to highlight a couple of important commitment dates, or rather, a commitment date for two different potential prospects. Could be Buffs here as at this time next week. Wanting to dive into that. Of course, smash that like and subscribe for more Buffs news coming to you. Maybe I'll post my part 3 to my Shador film room tomorrow. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind on it, but let's go ahead and get to the news. You might have seen this, but this is a player, Jace Thomas, who has NFL DNA in his blood. His dad, Fred Thomas, played in the NFL for a handful of years, I believe mainly for the Seattle Seahawks. And he is a safety, 3-star safety out of Louisiana, committing on Saturday, July 13th. So this is something that we need to pay attention to as the week goes on. Crystal ball for this player. We'll just have to see what happens. His top 5 that he's narrowed down to has been Colorado, Ole Miss, LSU, University of Houston, and Texas Tech. I thought this is kind of interesting. Of course, there's probably some connection, I'm sure, with Fred Thomas and somebody on the staff, right? Or it could just be Coach Prime himself. Now, one thing that's interesting about Jace Thomas, we'll go through his profile here very quickly. 3-star guy, rated 89 overall. He's been crystal balled right now to Ole Miss and LSU, which is pretty interesting. But when you look at his official visits, this is where things get interesting, is that his official visits have been Houston earlier in June, as well as Texas Tech. Has not lined up an official visit to Ole Miss or LSU. And so you wonder, okay, maybe he's got on some unofficials there. Maybe Colorado can be part of that conversation as well. I would still say that it's probably less likely than likely that he ends up a Buff. But as we know, as we know with this recruiting stuff with Coach Prime, as long as you have a puncher's chance, you have a legitimate chance with Coach Prime, with some of the guys that we've been able to swing and get their flips by surprise to commit to the Buffs. Of course, you'd like to see that he was out here for an official visit, but I think that this is one. I thought that this was very interesting. Taking a look at this, that he's got crystal balls for these two schools, but he's taken official visits at these schools in Texas, and of course, Colorado's an interesting sleeper, right? So keep an eye on this. Of course, the big thing to really keep an eye on for Saturday is 4-star wide receiver from Houston, Texas, Quanell Farrakhan Jr. I believe he's had a crystal ball. Yeah, I did a video on him last week about receiving a crystal ball from On3, Steve Wiltfong. He announces his commitment on Saturday as well, on July 13th. So this is something to pay attention to. Maybe we might see another college football recruiting reporter come out with another crystal ball of their own. Maybe we might see Adam Mustard Tiger. Wouldn't that be awesome to see one of our own guys drop a crystal ball? I think that'd be really cool. We'll just have to see what happens this week. Of course, a lot of fantastic schools are in the running for him. UCLA, Alabama, Arizona State, Nebraska, all the top schools, but only visited UCLA and Colorado recently. And again, like I said, Steve Wiltfong, who used to be a 24/7, now is with On3, has put a crystal ball on him to bring the Houston talent to Boulder. So that's something to keep an eye on. Important week. We'll just have to see what else happens this week with other commitments. Another player that I think we all feel very good about, guys, is Evan Haynes, 6'3" wide receiver out of Georgia. 3-star guy, but immensely talented, in my opinion. And then we're all, I think, as the days go on, I think the longer this thing draws out, the better and more confident I'm feeling about Julian Lewis being a Buff. So 2 weeks ago, he came for his visit, all these guys did, and right now we have only 3 remaining out of the 7 that visited that have not committed to the Buffs yet. So we're waiting for that. Quanell Farrakhan Jr. is going to be the guy that I'm expecting to commit next, but there could be maybe another surprise commitment this week. I don't think Julian Lewis has set a date yet. We just know tentatively it's probably going to be sometime before mid-August when his football season starts, as well as Evan Haynes. You're hoping that he makes a commitment sometime soon after visiting CU as well. So y'all let me know. One thing that I do want to know, y'all let me know about, is who are some other prospects that you're feeling pretty good with CU on? Please let me know. Maybe some guys that we didn't have come in for the big official visit date a couple weeks ago, but that could be a potential riser in terms of seeing steam with CU. Let me know. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all the growth that we've had, all the fun that we've had along the way. Stay with us, guys. Football season's right around the corner. Thanks so much, and Sco Buffs.